Imagine waking up to headlines screaming that Ibrahim, the young leader of Burkina Faso, had just struck an $8 billion green energy deal with India. At first, it sounded like a fairy tale, a small landlocked country in West Africa suddenly holding the keys to the future of global energy? Impossible. Or was it? What made it stranger was how the story spread. A video appeared online showing himself announcing the deal. The footage looked real. His voice, his tone, even the setting felt authentic. Millions believed it, but then whispers began. Was this video real, or was it the most sophisticated deepfake Africa had ever seen? Here's the twist. What if the deepfake was never meant to fool us into believing in a fake deal, but to hide the fact that the deal was real all along? And to understand how this story spiraled into one of the most controversial mysteries in African geopolitics, we need to go back to the very heart of Burkina Faso's untapped power and why India might be willing to risk everything for it. Burkina Faso is not a country most people think of when they hear the words global power. With no coastline, limited infrastructure, and a history of political instability, it has often been dismissed as one of the world's poorest nations. But what outsiders forget is that the richest treasures are often hidden beneath the harshest soil. For decades, Burkina Faso has been known for gold. In fact, it's one of Africa's top gold producers, with mines that quietly supply global markets. But gold is only the beginning. Recent geological surveys have suggested the country is sitting on something far more valuable in today's world: lithium reserves, uranium deposits, and the vast potential for solar energy. Lithium is the new oil. Without it, electric cars don't run, smartphones don't charge, and the global transition to renewable energy grinds too. A halt, and uranium? That's the backbone of nuclear power. Add to this the fact that Burkina Faso is in the Sahel, a region where the sun shines with almost brutal consistency, and suddenly the idea of this small nation powering the future doesn't seem so far-fetched. This is what makes the alleged $8 billion deal with India so provocative. According to the rumors, India wasn't just looking to buy gold. It wanted a long-term partnership to secure access to lithium for its electric vehicle revolution, uranium for its growing nuclear program, and solar projects that could turn Burkina Faso into an energy hub for all of West Africa. But if that's the case, why hasn't any official government confirmed it? Why does the story only exist in the shadows? The answer might lie in the battle between old powers and new players and how leadership has flipped the script on Africa's future, because to understand why an $8 billion deal might have been hidden behind a deepfake, we need to look at the man who's pulling the strings, Ibrahim himself. India is at a crossroads. With more than 1.4 billion people, its demand for electricity is skyrocketing. The government has pledged to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2070, but the path to that goal is filled with challenges. India needs lithium for electric vehicles. It needs uranium for nuclear reactors. And it needs solar power on a massive scale to keep up with its energy-hungry cities. The problem? India doesn't have enough of these resources at home. That is why New Delhi has been looking abroad, from lithium mines in South America to uranium suppliers in Central Asia, but the competition is fierce. China has already locked down huge portions of the global lithium supply chain. Western nations are hoarding resources to secure their own green transitions. So where does India turn? To Africa. For India, a partnership with Burkina Faso could be a masterstroke. On the surface, it's a small West African country, but if the geological surveys are correct, it could hold lithium reserves big enough to fuel millions of electric cars. Its uranium could keep nuclear plants running for decades, and its endless sunshine could become a testing ground for some of the world's largest solar farms. The $8 billion figure suddenly makes sense. It's not just an investment in Burkina Faso, it's insurance for India's future. But if this deal was so logical, why does it remain in the shadows? Why do we only hear about it through rumors, leaks, and a suspicious deepfake video? The answer might lie in the shadow war over Africa's resources and the players who don't want to see India step into the game, because to understand why a deepfake might have been used as cover, we need to look at who stands to lose if the deal is real. When came to power, one of his first moves was to push out French troops from Burkina Faso. He cut military ties, ended certain mining agreements, and aligned himself with a new wave of African leaders who were rejecting Western influence. This didn't sit well with powerful interests. For decades, France relied on countries like Burkina Faso for uranium, gold, and other strategic resources. Suddenly, that door was closing, and worse, was opening a new one that led straight to India, China, and Russia. If the $8 billion green energy deal with India is real, it would mean the end of Western dominance over Burkina Faso's resources. It would also set a precedent for other African nations. You don't need to bow to the old powers. You can find new partners. So here's where the twist comes in. When the deepfake video of announcing the India deal surfaced, experts rushed to debunk it. They showed evidence of manipulated visuals, mismatched lip movements, and digital artifacts. The world was told, don't believe it, this deal doesn't exist. But what if that was exactly the point? What if the deepfake wasn't meant to fool people into believing in a fake deal, but to discredit the real one? By flooding the internet with a phony announcement, skeptics could easily dismiss any rumors of an actual agreement as nothing more than fake news. It's the perfect cover-up. The more people laugh at the deepfake, the less likely they are to believe in the real story. But of course, secrets have a way of leaking, and if you follow the money, you start to see signs that something bigger is at play. In the months after the deepfake scandal, several curious financial patterns emerged. Indian companies quietly began exploring mining contracts in West Africa. Solar energy firms announced exploratory missions to the Sahel region. And in a leaked report, Burkina Faso's Ministry of Energy outlined plans for large-scale solar infrastructure projects that suspiciously aligned with India's technological expertise. None of these reports explicitly mention the $8 billion figure, but taken together, they paint a picture. Something is happening behind the scenes. Even more telling are the diplomatic visits. Indian delegations have been spotted in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso's capital, meeting with government officials. These weren't widely publicized trips. No flashy press conferences, no major headlines, just quiet, almost secretive meetings. To some analysts, this is proof that the alleged deal is more than just a rumor. Maybe the official announcement was never supposed to happen. Maybe the plan was always to keep it quiet, to avoid backlash from Western powers until the groundwork was already laid. But secrecy only adds fuel to speculation, and speculation breeds fear, especially when billions of dollars and the future of global energy are on the line. So the question becomes, if this deal really is happening, what would it mean for the rest of Africa? 4. The dream is clear. He wants Burkina Faso to become what Dubai was to oil, a small nation that leveraged energy wealth to transform into a global hub of influence. If the India deal succeeds, Burkina Faso could attract massive foreign investment, build infrastructure, and become a leader in green technology across Africa. It could inspire other nations in the Sahel to follow suit, forming alliances that bypass traditional Western influence. But there's also risk. An $8 billion deal is a double-edged sword. It could trigger backlash from Western nations, making Burkina Faso a target of economic sanctions or political pressure. It could also create new dependencies, swapping one set of powerful partners for another. And then there's the biggest risk of all. What if the deal isn't real? What if all the speculation is just that, speculation? In that case, Burkina Faso might find itself caught between promises and reality, its people left waiting for a future that never arrives. This is the paradox of EA's $8 billion gamble. If it is real, it changes everything. If it's fake, it could undermine his credibility and Burkina Faso's place in the new world order. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the uncertainty is what makes this story so powerful. Because in the world of geopolitics, sometimes perception is just as important as reality.